Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Arabia. This is game number 3 of the Surfshark Winner Stays On between Hera and Szalami. Up north, we're going to have Hera playing as the English in blue, and down south it is going to be Szalami, the one and only Delhi player, handling his favorite Delhi with that majestic golden elephant right next to his town center. He's going to be opening up for the second scout playing as the red Delhi.
All right, so English versus Delhi on Arabia. You know, in the past, a lot of people would say that this matchup was very English favored, as Delhi struggled to deal with the early longbow push. But yeah, with the recent balance changes, things have shifted up a bit. Where Delhi's been getting buffed, and one of the big changes for all civs in general is that horsemen now have 2 pierce armor in H2. So before English used to be able to kind of do like a longbow only push very early, but now it's much more difficult for that because the longbows can't kill horsemen quite as well as they used to, and especially with Delhi, you can build a mosque and research efficient production, which allows your military buildings to train units quicker. So that's one good strength of Delhi, is that they can adapt their unit composition really quickly on the fly, and they can also just start pumping out units very quickly to deal with early harassment here. So yeah, it's something to keep an eye on here for.
Looking at the base of Hera, he's got a very much forward gold mine over here, just like his opponent. In fact, both players have all of their gold mines very much exposed, so that's going to be difficult to hold out here. And when it comes to food lines, Szalami has 2 on the front as well, whereas Hera's 1 is on the side, and he's got 1 at the back. So I would dare to say that Hera's map is slightly better over here, simply because his wood lines are better distributed. Whereas for Szalami, he's got the berries at the back, which definitely helps for Delhi. He's already on the berries, opening up with the wheelbarrow. Managed to get quite a lot of sheep as well, which is definitely a positive for him. Whereas for Hera, it looks like he's only playing with 1 scout. He already dropped off the sheep. He's got about 6 to work with if you include the carcasses. And he doesn't have any more trailing his scout. Whereas on the other side, for Szalami, he's got 3 sheep underneath his town center, an additional 6 following 1 scout, and 3 more following the other. So we can safely say that Szalami had the better time collecting sheep in Dark Age here.
Yeah, that's always nice to get more sheep, but yeah, as you said, Hera didn't train a second villager, so I feel like that's one of the big debates currently in the community is, what's better here, to train a second scout or not? Because Szalami, he trained a second scout, so he won the sheep game quite significantly, but you're training that second scout from your town center, which means it takes the same amount of time to train a scout as a vill, so you're essentially losing 1 villager by training a second scout. So what's more beneficial, having less sheep or having like the 1 extra vill throughout the game? Yeah, it's an interesting topic where I think there's a lot of kind of debate throughout the community.
Mosque already up here for Szalami. He's likely going to start popping out efficient production, and after that, with the Dome of the Fate, we're going to have some extra scholars out there. Makes me wonder if he's gonna go aggressive towards those sacred sites, because that's something that we're seeing often from Delhi, trying to rush that sanctity upgrade and then just trying to control those sacred sites, get a very nice resource income from there. But it's gonna be difficult to do against the English, because the English will have the longbows out. Now, the Delhi of course can respond with their horsemen, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Hera adding quite a lot of spearmen as well early on over here. For Szalami, he's building his landmark right now with 4 villagers as compared to Hera's 3, so the 2 players will reach Feudal Age at approximately the same time.
Yeah, and Szalami is researching that efficient production, which allows you to pop a scholar into a military building and boost the production by 100%. So yeah, that kind of prevents any early harassing with just only longbows, because you can just pop the scholar in the stable and get a lot of cavalry out really quickly. So I'm interested to see what Hera's response is going to be here in this game. He is in age 2 now, and Hera is keeping villagers on gold here, so no barracks at the moment. He's going to start making some longbows and just kind of keeping them at home for now.
He's also scouting the base of Szalami, so he wants to see what's up. He doesn't want to move out with his longbows if he sees a stable, because if he sees a stable, as you said, it's so easy for the Delhi with efficient production to pop out a couple of horsemen that you definitely need the barracks before you move out. And that's the big danger here for the English. You really have to be careful of how you move out of your base, because one bad move and you lose your entire army. Hera is going to take some shots on his scout here, but no major harm done on him. And as we're seeing the first couple of scholars come in, speaking of which, you have to be careful about that gold mine being lost, because if that's the case, you won't be able to pop out more scholars. There's a stable on the way for Szalami. Hera is coming in with the longbows. This is something that's spotted by Szalami, so he knows exactly those longbows are coming forward. And he is indeed pulling away the villagers from the gold mine.
Yeah, and this is really risky as English. You know, Hera did scout, and he saw that there was no stable. Hera now taking another lap around, and I think he does now scout the stable, so he's actually going to retreat with the longbows now, which is a good decision, I think, because yeah, this is something you kind of maybe used to be able to do before with English, but it just doesn't feel like you can do an early longbow push as English against Delhi, because you know the horsemen are now a bit stronger, and they can just get the horsemen out really quickly. So yeah, Hera now responding by building barracks, and yeah, I think this is the correct approach. But it's tough because you know it gives Delhi quite a bit of time to get booming, and yeah, we'll have to see how this game continues to progress here.
And we are seeing professional scouts even queued up over here for Szalami. Makes me wonder if he will actually start ferrying in there. He only has 2 scouts, but you know, since the technology itself is free, once you got the horticulture and the wheelbarrow upgrade, you can queue up professional scouts and slowly ferry in there. Gotta love how Szalami is moving away with that scholar from the stable once he sees that there is no more aggression coming up, because the Delhi want to play a longer game over here. Feudal Age is something that favors the English, so you want to have the Delhi play a longer game, and Szalami is doing that right now. Popping out 2 archer ranges though, and he's now jumping in there, so looks like he might actually play a more aggressive Feudal Age than we initially anticipated. And we could see that combination of horsemen and archers coming in. He's also grabbing Iron Undermesh. Of course, Delhi cheaper blacksmith technologies actually help a lot here as well, because you can just continuously pop out those upgrades. They take more time to research, but when Hera is inside his base, that doesn't really matter for you at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Delhi is an underexplored civ at the moment, as I think some people are noticing, and they're potentially extremely strong, just in general. And there's a lot of different ways of playing them. You can go for like the semi-fast castle, but you can also play them in H2. They can be extremely strong in H2 if you just mass up an army, as Szalami is doing, and just then get map control, and you can capture the sacred sites and get a lot of gold gen from the sacred sites. Even, you don't have to use them as a victory condition, but if you grab the sacred sites, pretty early in the game, they can be a huge boost to your economy.
Speaking of which, Sanctity is about to finish here for Szalami. He's 20 seconds away, and he's got some horsemen, got some archers moving out. And of course, the thing is that for Hera, it's going to be also difficult to control all 3 of those sacred sites, because his army is not so mobile. His longbows, in fact, are even slower than the standard archers of the opponent, and now you see Szalami getting a couple more scouts out of that stable. With professional scouts about to finish, he's going to take this to the next level, starting to ferry in there, and that's going to give him a very nice eco advantage over Hera. Of course, Hera's going to have the English farming working for him, but that's a big investment at the beginning, so despite the fact that he's going to have the English farming bonus, he has to invest a ton of wood into this one, whereas for Szalami, he's just getting a technology for free, and he's still going to have the deer working out for him. And of course, he could also grab survival techniques so that his food income is going to be even better.
Yeah, now we're starting to see Szalami wall in the sacred sites too, which is just incredibly strong to just try to control them and get the gold gem from them. And I don't know, I feel like the English are kind of on a clock here, because Delhi, they just kind of get better and better as the game progresses. Like, they're getting all these ecotechs completely for free, and now they're all completed. Like, the tier 1 upgrades are completed, and you just have like quite a good economy through that. And he's getting closer and closer to capturing the sacred site. So it almost feels like Hera's going to have to make a move soon here, as both players are playing quite defensively, but I think Delhi is kind of in a better position with the defensive gameplay here.
I have to agree with that. As you see, Szalami is walling up all 3 sacred sites before he's actually capturing them. That is because he doesn't want Hera to know that he is capping them. So if you look at Hera's POV, he's got no idea about any of this happening. He had his scout close to the base of his opponent because he was looking at whether or not Szalami is moving out towards the hunt on the right side. He saw that that's not the case, and now Hera's scout is going to get intercepted by the horseman here. Horseman will pursue that scout all the way back, and now Szalami is moving out. Hera also spotted the Voas out here, so he knows exactly what's up. He's pulling out the longbows, but at this point, he's mixing in some men-at-arms, and that could be a difference maker because that's something that Delhi will have a tough time dealing with. No sacred sites under the control of Szalami just yet. He's just now moving out with the scholars. But it's gonna be difficult to capture those because the longbows can still shoot over Voz, so they can just stab down the scholars inside the sacred sites.
Yeah, that is true, but if you can just initially get them captured, it can be quite good against the English because, you know, the English army here is mainly longbows. They have very little torch damage, very little siege damage, so taking these walls down will be quite difficult for Hera.
Speaking of which, he's crawling up with the palisade Voz out there. He's leveraging one of my favorite Delhi bonuses, and that is being able to build Voz with your infantry. So, using those archers to build Voz, he's going to buy himself a lot of time. And you see Hera's like, oh shoot, I bump into a Vo here. And that is exactly the window that Szalami needs to capture those sacred sites. And as you said before, once those sacred sites are captured, it's going to be difficult to neutralize them because the longbows will struggle to get through Voz. Of course, you got some spearmen going as well, so it's not impossible, but you have a low mobility, you have 3 sacred sites to neutralize, so Szalami should have no trouble holding at least 2 of these, and as you said, that's gonna be a ton of gold income for him, and that is going to let him just focus on gathering food and getting towards Castle. This is looking really good for Szalami. His gold income will skyrocket in a matter of moments.
Yeah, like when you have one sacred site captured, it feels like your gold gen like explodes really quickly. Like it's so critical to not only like deny the sacred sites, but like minimize how long they're captured for. The gold gen just it feels crazy. Maybe it's because you know how early you get it in the game, and you know what percent of your eco it is. But yeah, I mean, Salami's in a very good spot. He can stay H2 and just try to defend the sacred sites, or he can just try to go up to H3 with this and then get the stronger units. Hera is just now moving forward. Salami is going to engage in this fight, though. He is floating a lot of resources. So, kind of feels like a bad fight for Szalami to take here. Man-at-Arms now trying to get on top of the archers here.
Szalami charging into this one. He's got a ton of scouts here, but not a lot of horsemen. He's focusing down the longbows, however, and as you see, he's right now sort of evenly trading army with Hera. This is a risky fight for him, as you said, but once you take down those couple of spearmen, that's exactly what Szalami is focusing. He's gonna have a window for his horsemen to take this down. It's a little surprising that we're seeing scouts over here, because despite the fact that those are cheap fill-in units over here, it's very, very difficult to make them work effectively in this battle. So, very surprising choice here from Szalami that he's going for that. You already see that he's got 1,000 gold in the bank, so if he's able to repel this attack, I think he's got the game. But it's gonna be difficult to do. Luckily for him, he's got the efficient production working out on those archer ranges, so he can mass a lot of archers over here. Also mixing in a barracks for himself. Wouldn't be surprised to see him rushing up that castle age with the compound of the defender and just hoping that he can get some men-at-arms and lancers out. Hera is coming out to the tower. But at this point, can Hera do enough damage to compensate for the fact that his opponent is almost up to castle age?
Yeah, I mean, Szalami just has a massive eco advantage at the moment, and that felt like a really bad fight for Szalami to take. Like, you know, the trade was somewhat even. I think Szalami probably lost it by a little bit, but, you know, engaging basically right before you start aging Castle Age is definitely not ideal, but I think he just had, you know, really such a large lead that it was okay. And yeah, now he's in Castle Age and he can start pumping out H3 man-at-arms, and he still has 3 sacred swords captured. Like, the win condition's ticking, and he's getting so much gold gen from that. He was able to build a market and, you know, buy food or wood if he needs to. And yeah, he's in a very, very good spot right now. Hera going to respond by researching siege engineering and trying to go for a ram push here, but yeah, Szalami's looking quite strong here.
Yeah, all that Szalami needs to do is hold off this one assault over here on his base. Second defense upgrade on the ranged armor coming in for Szalami. Szalami is grabbing Veteran Archer as we speak, but of course that's an upgrade that's gonna take some time here, even with 3 scholars empowering that building. Not a lot of Lancers coming out though, and also we're not seeing a ton of Men-at-Arms here just yet. So there's definitely a window for Hera to push this one, and it's becoming a now or never situation for him. I kind of get the feel that with Szalami floating 700 food, and also 240 gold, and he's having such a great gold income, you just gotta pump out Lancers here, even though there are some Spearmen, because at this point, it's all about, can you get enough numbers here to repel this attack? Hera moving in with the Rams right now is gonna take down a couple of houses, which will actually make Szalami housed. And considering that Szalami doesn't have a great lumberjacking operation right now, that could be a cause of concern at this point for our Delhi player.
Yeah, but Szalami actually even getting some relics here with the Scholars. It's going to be tough for Hera to deal with the H3 man arms, and Szalami even building a Siege Workshop and going to have his eyes on a Minganel. Doesn't quite have the resources queuing up. He did get house, so that was quite nice. Hera targeting 2 of the houses there. But yeah, Salami's just got to buy himself a little bit of time, and if he can get 1 Minganel out, that's going to be very scary.
It is gonna be very scary, and you see that on the right side, he walled off the entire map. His plan was to actually wall off the entire map here, and just not even let Hera close to those sacred sites. Looks like Hera's gonna find a couple of villagers on the left side, so these walls will now have to run for their lives. The scout is nearby, so you can keep track of those longbows. And honestly, for Szalami, losing a couple of villas over here, but buying himself some time is completely acceptable. Simply because the sacred sites will give such a big eco boost, and using the market, you can just balance your eco out, that you can easily just justify buying yourself some time and now moving out with the archers, soon to be veteran if I'm not mistaken. And indeed, Hera's just gonna tap out upon seeing the men-at-arms over here.
Yeah, wow. I mean, very strong gameplay from Szalami, and there we go. You know, pulling the ace out of his sleeve here and using his deli. And yeah, he played it very strong, very well. Yeah, showing the power of the deli here, capturing those sacred sites. Very good gameplay. Using the walls. Yeah, using deli to their strength.
And the thing is that Hera loses this game with 42 kills and only 18 losses. It's the fact that with the English, you have to be very careful on how you move out of your base, because if you move out prematurely, you could easily get your army intercepted by the horseman archer combination of the deli. But if you stay inside, the deli is just going to punish you, and you got to appreciate the game plan here for Szalami, because he didn't just go out and capture the sacred site without any kind of like long-term plan. He walled all of the sacred sites in before he started capping them, so he was fully aware that the moment he starts capping, Hera's gonna react to that. So he preemptively walled them in, and then moves out to capture sacred sites, and that just forces Hera's hand, forces Hera to make a move. And if you look at the ecos at the end, 3,800 gold for Szalami gathered in this game. That is just a gigantic amount of extra food, and let's keep in, or extra gold. And let's keep in mind, he also had the berry bonus working for him, and he had lot more sheep, so he didn't really have to add farms for a long time, and overall, his better eco propelled him to Castle Age and a victory.
Yeah, very well played. And yeah, just seeing the power of the Delhi eco really. Yeah, getting out, gathering all resources, especially that gold. And, you know, English having one of the worst ecos in the game. You know, especially in like the early game. You know, when they get up to Castle Age, then the English farms, you know, are very good. But their early game ecos not so good. You know, one kind of near the bottom. And yeah, I didn't like when Hera was playing very defensive and not making any moves. So the game just kind of stalled out and allowed Delhi to get ahead quite massively with just the eco here. And yes, Szalami turning that into a victory, going up 2-1 in this